90-Day vows blissful endings that Brandon and Julia Gibbs desire. Also, we were aware of that prior to when this episode first aired. We had no idea where it was going. Lucky for them, they became pregnant while they were away, even though they had intended to wait until they got back. Even if I have a problem with Brandon's handling of everything, it is the season's feel-good story. The Gibbs children, Ron and Betty, have been the source of much contention between Brandon and Julia ever since their debut on 90 Days of Marriage. Even though they left the house in the hopes that he would be free of their influence, they are still very much involved in his personal life. I've already mentioned how he's partly to blame, and I'm saying it again following the most recent episode when he told Julia about his ambitions. Their vacation was enjoyable, Brandon and Julia. However, they have reportedly cut off all communication with his parents as of the most recent 90-Day Fiancé episode, Happily Ever After. The fact that their son left his job to go on a trip with Julia before attempting to conceive has left Ron and Betty quite upset. Since Brandon feels his priorities are all over the place, he suggested they contact out and let them know about the pregnancy. He thinks it would help them move past the dispute and make things smoother. Betty and Ron have been quite controlling parents. I get it. I was on board with their cautious approach when Julia initially arrived from Russia, but now they need to take a back seat. Before setting off on this journey, Brandon, who is financially reliant and in his 30s, had a solid strategy to sustain themselves. They're entitled to their tantrums if they so desire, but they might spare themselves a great deal of pain and suffering if they could just accept that their kid is an adult now and has the capacity to make his own decisions. Before, I opposed Ron and Betty's impact on this marriage. Now, I see Julia as the hidden antagonist in this 90-Day Fiancé plot. Truthfully, Brandon is all for it and frequently incorporates them into his arguments in order to sway more people to his side when he perceives an unfairness. Something needs to give now that they're married for a while and expecting a child. Once Julia and Brandon have a child, I don't think we'll see them on TV again until at least 2025. It is my sincere wish that Brandon will have had an opportunity to set limits with his parents at that point. The stress of raising a young child is bad enough without having your parents show up unannounced and cause even more trouble. That doesn't mean Ron and Betty can't provide a hand to Brandon and Julia or be involved in any way. Julia has demonstrated in the past that she cares about and wants her husband's parents to be involved with their difficulties. So I know that they will have their share of problems. But I don't see it as unreasonable that she wants limits. Also, instead of setting limits, Brandon should not have used the kid to hide their past problems. They should figure out how to rectify the situation and push ahead for the sake of their relationship. Cinema Blend's content producer MC Jost has his fingers in a wide variety of TV shows. While Star Trek is undoubtedly his favorite show, he also keeps up with the latest news from the Star Trek WWE universe, Doctor Who, 90 Days of Love, Quantum Leap, and Big Brother. He earned a bachelor's degree in journalism and a secondary in radio and television from USI. If given the opportunity, he excels at hosting panels and making appearances on podcasts as